Hey guys. Just wanted to say I've been doing an aiming challenge with DDK or Daniel Capadilla, esports commentator, ex-pro player for Berkeley, and also I think he was GM for 100 Thieves as well for Valorant. Anyways, he dropped an aiming challenge as of June 28th, if I recall correctly. And I want to participate as a person who's getting back into aim training and trying to get better at Valorant again without burning myself out. Burnout was my biggest weakness. And here I am just participating, to be honest. During recording most of these sessions and most of these routines that I've been doing, I forgot to record audio in the moment. I realized it'd be better to record my audio talking about what I was thinking in the moment than afterwards. So most of the time you're gonna see me just like talking over some stuff and just honestly commenting on what I think I could have done better. These first two clips you're gonna see me doing some quad shot and some reactive, which are both a part of the new season 3 benchmarks from Voltaic Discord. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested. And I am trying out a new sensitivity. So in the previous year when I played Valorant, I used to have a sensitivity of about right now I use 3200 DPI, so that's the perspective I'm going to use. I use a sensitivity of 0.05 sensitivity, and now I'm trying to go back up to 0.1 sensitivity, which is what I used when I played Overwatch because it felt a lot more comfortable. The only downside is that doing micro corrections is extremely difficult, but I didn't mind starting from the ground up, especially with the new benchmarks dropping, because it gives me a new chance to improve and work on what I need to work on. So I'll drop a couple of screenshots. Here's my day 1 screenshot right here, and then I'll put a quick screenshot for every day that I've gone through, and you'll see also in the top left what day it is based off of the clips that were being shown. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch, and have a nice one. And if you want to see anything more from me, or if you have any specific ideas that stick out to you, please tell me on how to make the videos better, or even just stick in more ideas into the videos. So have a nice one. Thanks for being here.
So let's just take a look at these notes real quick. I wanted to just talk about my overflicking issue. So I'm gonna go backwards from here. I'm just gonna pay attention to 2 overflicking situations. This is definitely one of them right here. I had to swing out because I was playing anti for my Phoenix, for the Phoenix on the enemy team. I was gonna walk up on me on cat here, and I had to do a 180. But let's just really hone in on like how I approach the situation. One, I didn't hit confirm, as you can see. I sort of rushed the first shot. I didn't even get on him, and then I whiff and go into a spray. And that's definitely an overflick there in my opinion, without a hit confirm on top of that. So we gotta work on our, I think, micro adjustments and our main flicks. Specifically Bard Pro flicks, and here it's just hitting that 180 is not the easiest. That requires some practice that only DM can provide. You can see me trying to adjust here actually to try and hit the opponent here. So I get it on him, and I'm trying to react, and you can see me overflick both left and right, trying to get it on him. Oh my god. And then I finally get my crosshair a little bit close to Reyna, and I slightly overflick here too. And then my adjustments weren't too clean on the Phoenix, but since he jumped, I'll forgive myself a little bit there, but you definitely could have been a lot more smoother in that case. There's another situation where I was actually holding a sight down against a Cypher on A by door, and I didn't hit confirm there either. Oh, there's one situation actually here. This is another overflick situation or underflick. See, boom, as soon as you shoot this, he comes to swing so he can get some peeker's advantage and avoid getting hit by the dart. I overflick once again, unfortunately. And I tried to target switch spray transfer, and I sort of fucked that up as well. So we're definitely overflicking here. So I'm going to do a lot of micro exercises for a little bit, and then we can come back and check on our progress in terms of our overflicking.
So I don't have much footage from day 4 all I seemingly have is a couple of clips and me doing a DM with the focus of trying to use Bard Pill more frequently in my games. I tried doing it to the best of my ability. Actually, you're looking at that footage right now. Matter of fact, trying my best to sort of try to bridge the gap of aim labs and the in-game scenarios, to be honest, where I feel like I'm not really too connected to my crosshair. Matter of fact, me recording this audio is on July 6th, 2024, where yesterday I was talking to, or rather really early in the morning, at 4 in the morning, I was talking to my friend and I was telling her, hey, something that I noticed is that when I use jet knives, I don't really focus too much on my crosshair, which I find really strange considering that I spend most of my time actually just in aim labs where my crosshair and the target are the only two things I'm paying attention to. I remember watching a video by Demon One actually talking about his aim labs routine, and I heard him say something that really stuck out to me, which is you literally are spending time in the aim trainer to learn how to train your eyes to focus on these targets and improving technique. He didn't say this word for word. I'm synthesizing his words. And when you get in the game, you have all these distractions such as recoil, using a gun, the way it works, and other things such as having body shots available to you, which is what you weren't training for. You're not training to aim body shots, you're training to be more efficient so you can hit more headshots more frequently. So that's the reason why I'm trying to force myself to spend more time in DMs trying to bridge this gap. Granted, I wasn't thinking about it exactly this way at the time of this DM being recorded, but I definitely am going to put more effort into that now. Definitely changed a lot of my perspective as well. But for the time being, I'm going to just talk about a couple of other things that happened from day 4 to day 7. And then if the clips have audio, I just let the clips rock with their own audio. One last tidbit here. Just want to talk about how I did hit a new PR. It was specifically a control track. I want to leave a screenshot right up here. I am missing quite a lot of screenshots, as I'm noticing just now, but here's one for day 4. This is a big one. This is like about, I'm not good at math, but maybe a 10% increase approximately. So that's pretty good. I didn't. If I did aim train yesterday, that's probably warm up at DMs. I haven't done a routine since the day before yesterday, and I wanted to do one. I am a little bit tired, but I wanted to make sure I'm getting out, so I'm just gonna go through this routine. I'm gonna do one of each. I found this playlist from a Reddit post. I just did a quick Google search, nothing crazy. Literally typed in, like, what did I type in? Micro adjustment playlist KovaaKs. I saw a post from a year ago. The first one I saw, I clicked it. The name isn't there, the person deleted their account, but the first comment is by Farad, which I'm probably gonna screenshot and put it somewhere up here. And a guy named Sleuth recommends a different playlist because someone else recommended a playlist apparently that he made, and he thought his other playlist is more focused on speed. So screenshot right here. There it is, and I'll put a playlist in the playlist thing in the description. I'll be working on that. I may just, honestly, I'm gonna start doing just do one of each, and then I'll give my feedback on how I think it's gonna help me, or which ones really stick out to me the most. I think is gonna help me the most. I already think I have an idea of what I need to work on, but we'll see as I go through this playlist. So, doing these exercises, I think I'm gonna side with comfort a little bit more, and even though I really want to use the high sense, I still think trying to play within the realm of reason within the game I want to play is still very important. So for example, like, since I'm doing this training for Valorant specifically, I feel like if I'm struggling with exercises specifically made for things that I'm looking to improve, Not in the technique way. I mean, I guess you could argue it is technique, but I feel like I am straining myself very hard to keep up. Like the amount of fine detail that I have to execute feels really high. Let me see if I can explain this. So like, let's say if I'm like clicking these dots, right? My smallest micro adjustment feels like something that I could possibly conscious summon. Like I could try to summon this type of micro adjustment mid game, but this is like almost beyond fingertip movement. Like it's like a microing. I guess it is fingertip, and I'm trying to feel my way around it a little bit. Trying to slow myself down for these micro corrections. You know what? Maybe I just need to use a little bit more fingertip, because I feel a little bit more comfortable. Maybe I'll lower a smidgen. Not exactly sure yet, but it's definitely bordering that. I don't know if I'll be able to feel this type of micro adjustment in game. Like, I feel like I'm using my fingertips so accurately. I don't know if I'll be able to try and execute this in mid game, but I guess that's what playing DMs is for. So this makes me a little bit more conscious of my fingertip micro adjustments, which is what I was complaining about when I was using my previous sense, which is a Demon 1 sensitivity except with 3200 DPI. And it makes me very happy that the thing that I wanted to really work on is sort of right here. Because when I was using the Demon 1 sense, I didn't really have to think as hard about these micro adjustments. I think most of this was in my wrists and like maybe even barely in my fingers. But when I used my fingers, I was like borderline tracking these bots instead of click timing. Like the sense felt so low that even though in the videos or the recordings it was click timing, it didn't feel as if it was. I felt like I was like just really slowly moving my cross around to these things. I'm still trying to do the same here, but I feel like I'm actually trying to get a micro adjustment with my fingers. I don't know, like it feels like the situation reflects it feels like the technique that I'm trying to figure out with my brain is being reflected in my hand. Like micro adjustments, okay, and now I'm using my fingertip to do micro adjustments, whereas like if I'm using a lower sense, yes, the chain of micro adjustments now moves further down your arm from your fingertips to maybe your wrists, or instead of like I guess the fingertips are still the same, but I guess you're using a wider motion of your fingers, like the way your knuckles are, rather than where your I don't know, like the tip of your fingers, rather using your whole finger instead of like little tiny motions. Whereas like if you're using a really low sensitivity, you're like maybe using your wrist more than you are your arm to do certain motions, if that makes sense. That's the reason I said it feels like the type of aim technique I'm trying to execute really feels like it's being reflected in the type of body part that I'm using. So from here on out, I'm just going to really focus on technique, as we all should be. And I'm going to make sure that I'm using fingertip and I'm only correcting in a way that feels as if like a barred pill of sorts. Maybe just a little bit slower because the targets are a little bit harder to hit, but definitely still trying to keep as close to the barred pill as possible here. The one thing to focus on, I guess, for anybody else who's listening to me do this is you're gonna feel really slow. Back when I was aim training a lot, the one thing I told myself is that if it doesn't feel slow or if it doesn't feel a little strange, you're probably not doing it right. Because there's no way, I feel like on your first couple of tries, something like this, at least in terms of the difficulty, the subjectivity of difficulty for myself, should be coming too quickly. And this doesn't mean necessarily that you have to be slow all the time when doing these things, but I definitely believe that there should be a form of challenge. You should be aware that you're being challenged. Like here, I know that I have to go slower than usual, and I see myself going slower than usual. Thus, I know that I'm actively trying to implement technique. Maybe this comes a little more naturally to you, and sometimes your slow moments come somewhere else. But let's say if you have an accuracy of like, I don't know, like see how my accuracy is 61%, that means I still have to focus on accuracy here. Whereas if we go to like the top few players, like they're like 80s, 90s, you know what I'm saying? So looking at myself being in the 61s, we can definitely hit up the 70s and get something really strong going on here. You can see some people with 85s, 86s. I'm just gonna avoid the top 3, not because they've done anything wrong, but I don't know who's cheaters and who's not, but the top 10, you can see definitely some people with some 90 accuracy, some 86s. So let's hit that range, and then we can start focusing on speed again. Because like when you focus on speed, your accuracy will drop. When you focus on accuracy, your speed's going to decrease. So trying to figure out that balance is really important, in my opinion. But yeah, hopefully this was a nice perspective. And just so you know, just to repeat it one more time, my sensitivity is still 3200.1 in Valorant. I went from 0.103 to just 0.1 because that tens hundredths, that thousandths place actually made a slight difference that I could barely feel, and it definitely helped a lot with the micro distance. I won't lie, believe it or not. I'm also getting used to this sense, so it's like lowering it just that smidgen, and then also getting used to this sense really helped a lot.
So if I recorded all the days correctly, this should be
Day 7 of the DDK 30-day aim training challenge. Yesterday was the one day I didn't aim train due to just feeling not too hot. Technically, the training that I did do wasn't in aim training, it was in Valorant, so I was doing a lot of DMs on that day. So if you want to consider that an aim training day, go ahead. If you don't, that's also fine. I can see arguments for both. But now that we're on day 7, I just hit a new score for what was it again? Let me see. Control Track Novice Season 3. I was actually trying to like really tune into figuring out how to make certain adjustments. For example, I was really bad with continuity. I was really smooth. I wasn't overreacting, but my continuity is really bad. So I'm back to focusing on the target. And as I was trying to focus on target, I realized I wasn't using enough fingertip movement, which really helped out a lot. I definitely do feel like I could be doing a lot better, but not in a I should be doing better and I'm terrible type way, but in a way of I can see my potential going really far, especially considering that I'm hitting I'm gonna hit gold complete again, but instead of hitting gold complete with my current with the sensitivity that I used before, which was like a really low sensitivity, I think I was using like 0.17 Valorant, 1600 DPI, or 1 sensitivity, 1600 DPI between those two. Now I'm using 40 centimeters for 360, which is 0.2, 0.21-ish, 1600, or just 0.1 if you're on 3200. I use 3200 personally, it feels a lot smoother. But I'm really happy for today. I'm gonna try getting this task done. I'm doing quad shot novice season 3. I'll drop a screenshot of where I'm at right now. I literally just hit gold in control track. Screenshot that right now, put it on the screen. And I think I'm gonna watch a video on how to really hone in on doing Bard Pill, give myself a nice refresher of what Bard Pill is, and then try to really hone in on that. So today for static, I'm really not going to focus on improving any scores. I'm just going to focus on technique and understanding Bard Pill so my brain can get used to it. So then as soon as I feel like I'm truly getting used to doing Bard Pill, I can move on immediately and start grinding out scores and focusing on the little things, the smaller parts of technique that incorporate Bard Pill as a whole technique. It's a lot of technique Russian nest dolls going on there, but yeah, hopefully we can get that done today. I'll leave one recording of me doing maybe 2 recordings of me doing the quad shot novice. I'll probably even put a separate link in an info card up in the top right for the video of me doing quad shot for its entire session duration and me talking through it in the top. So if you guys want to watch that, go ahead. I'll be talking as much as possible until it's turned into a ramble, and I'll speed it up for you guys or something. But appreciate you guys being here.
So after watching two videos, one video talking about why Bard, well, the title is why Bard Pill is wrong. It's clickbait, but he really was trying to get you to realize while watching the video is why Bard Pill for beginners is not something you should be focusing on. The reasoning was due to the fact that players that are newer to aiming should be focusing on making as smooth lines as possible. And I do agree with that to an extent due to the fact that I remember a lot of pros were saying I'd rather you go slow, especially like Noted and Ye. Those are the two people that come out in my mind the most. Noted is not like a tier 1 professional or even tier 2, but he's a really consistently good high level Radiant player. Always Radiant almost every season, if not every season. And he would always say, I would rather you go slow. And the reason that I agree with the going slow part is due to the fact that when I've noticed in the past, I would say a year ago from when I'm going to upload this, maybe even a year and a half ago, I noticed that going slow really helped my brain get familiar with the amount of movement that I need to do for certain distances with the specific sensitivity that I had at the time, especially for low sense. If you have a really low sensitivity, quote unquote muscle memory would be a lot more effective with those low sensitivities because you can break down movements a lot easier. The higher the sense, the harder it is to develop that type of muscle memory, but it is definitely possible. I know Voltaic has a whole paper talking about how muscle memory is or is not a thing. I don't exactly remember it. You can go look at it if you want. It makes sense from when I last watched it and I read it and I agreed with it. But onto the Bard Pill part, I watched Bardos's video, the one he made himself about how he improved aesthetic, and he did advocate for Bard Pill, but I also agree that you should be still trying to do the Bard Pill, but doing it as slowly as possible. So trying to make your lines as clean as possible. You can ape if you want, but if you're a beginner, I don't suggest you try aping. I suggest you try going as slightly above your comfort or right at comfort level until you can build up speed, which means that you won't get good scores for a while, which is hence the reason I said in the last clip that I had, which is focusing on technique is extremely important, especially if you don't feel like you're the ideal image of aim that you want to be. Everybody has a different image of what they want their aim to be. And I think that going slow or slightly above your comfort level in terms of flicking and making sure you're 100% on the target or after the initial flick is extremely important. So you're going to see me going really slow, and my scores may drop, my scores may raise. I don't know, but I'm going to be really focusing on technique here. Let me get started. I'm just going to play some music and I'll talk about my thoughts along the way. And if you're wondering what I'm listening to, it's Eslabon Armada. So that's what I listen to when I'm aim training sometimes. Other times maybe I'll be listening to like dancehall or something, or even reggaeton. So here I'm trying to just focus on under flicking a little bit more. I'm trying to familiarize myself with the different distances for under flicking for my wrist or my fingers even, which is requiring a little bit of work, but I'll figure it out over time. I'm just really focused on trying to think with my brain, fingers or wrist. Maybe even a slight combination of both, which makes things a little bit harder, but if you can't do that, don't worry about it, just isolate a part of your wrist or your fingers. I'm just doing what feels comfortable to me as well, and then you can expand off of that. I'm no aim pro, but I feel like I'm getting really comfortable with self-analyzing a lot more. And oh look, even a higher score already. And then if we drop again, we're going to look at the VOD, we're going to see what we can improve on. Oopsies. Remembering to slow yourself down is also like the hardest part. Oi. I don't like that. Loosen my wrist a little bit. Okay, so now I'm speeding up a little bit too fast. I got like 10 minutes until Premiere starts, so let's be a little bit efficient with our time. I think I'm speeding up a little bit too much in terms of mental confirmation of my targets. So now I'm going to go a little bit slower in terms of not the flicks, but the in-between of the flick and the micro adjustments. So between those 2 points, the confirmation window will be a lot longer, but it's going to drop over time. So I'm just going to try really honing in on that confirmation window. And then we're back to a higher score. Actually, not too far away from my high score, which I don't think I had the same technique. Let's take a look at what we're doing right now. When I started focusing on making the confirmation window a little bit wider, there's a point midway through me doing this run where my brain just started confirming for me. Like, I wasn't thinking about it consciously. My brain was like, oh, okay, this is what you want to do. And it started going a little bit faster for me. I think you can see me picking up the pace here. This isn't me thinking about the confirmations. This is my brain doing it for me. And this is a little bit of the metacognition that DDK was talking about, which is something that I've had for a while. So if you don't have this build, don't worry. This is something I've had since I was very young, actually, thinking about my thoughts. I spent a lot of time thinking as a child. But I was able to notice that my hand was just sort of doing its own thing after a while. And I was like, oh, okay. My brain is understanding that I want to start hit confirming a little bit more frequently. And it's sort of working with me to get back into the groove of that. I think my lines are relatively clean here. There's some moments where my brain would just sort of go off and do a really AP flick and then just sort of return back to the target. These lines are sort of clean. Yeah. I didn't really know what I wanted to pick as a target there. This one's a little bit easier. It's a nice little cluster. I like how I'm under flicking a lot more. Again, that's a slight over flick, but no biggie. It's not the worst. It's actually not bad at all. I think we're heading in the right direction here. I think we just need more repetitions. Yeah, I think we're fine. Just do more reps. That's all we need to do right now. I'll do one more, and then I want to get a quick TDM in, because I don't want to be in the aim trainer only mind state when Premiere starts. Oh, a 1000 score. Nice. Okay. Okay, I clearly am really messing with the technique. I'm not getting 100% scores like Barda said. Because he suggested to go for 100. I am sticking to just being above 95. I'm okay with being above 95 because I feel like I'm also pushing my ranges like occasionally midway through, which I prefer. I like that feeling of trying to push myself a little bit more for pacing. I feel like if I do a 100%, I may get too comfortable, and I also get really bored. It has nothing to do with scores. It's just simply the feeling of boredom. I just enjoy pushing myself, so I don't like the 100% runs too much because I lose patience very easily. Maybe that's something to look into later, but that's what I got for now. Now I'm gonna go do some DMs to make sure that I'm game ready, not just aim trainer ready when I walk in.
All right, guys, this is all I have for this week, unfortunately. In the sense that the content or the videos and the recordings that I had from across day 1 to day 7 wasn't exactly the most even. I wish I did what I did on day 7
a little bit sooner, which is talking about my thoughts and experiences in the moment with Aimtraining rather than trying to do a voiceover. I initially thought I was going to do voiceovers across everything, and I realized how difficult that was, especially if I'm not scripting and writing down my thoughts and how I'm going to approach certain things beforehand walking into it. In the next few videos, I'm going to make sure that I'm actually trimming down a lot of the fat to make sure the video isn't as long, maybe closer to 20 minutes instead of 30. Try to shorten it every time, so hopefully the next week is shorter than this week. Anyways, if you made it this far, I really appreciate it, and it means that you're genuinely interested in my journey or looking for some answers yourself. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you don't have any questions for me, but rather looking for questions for better aimers, you can go to the Voltaic Discord in the description. And yeah, I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'm just going to let the clips keep rolling. As however many I have, I don't know, because I'm still in the editing process. This is feature keg. So if anything, yeah, I do appreciate you guys. Have a nice one.